Hello, everyone. First of all, thank you so much for joining. I hope you all are doing great. Welcome to this webinar on the future of access management. This webinar is hosted by CyberArk and one of its partners, Sennovate. I am Jeannie Jessica, Sales and Marketing Executive of Sennovate. So guys, today we are here to discuss about the emerging trends in the access management space. Apart from this, we also have a fun element stored for you all. In few minutes, we will have spin the wheel game and whoever's name come out will be the lucky winner and get exciting prizes. So in total, we will have 5 lucky winners today. For that audience, please stay tuned till the end to know the results. On that note, I would like to say that our speaker for today has hands-on experience on access management space. So yes, audience, today we will get to hear about this topic straight from the horse's mouth. He is currently a channel solutions engineer supporting all CyberArk channel partners in the United States and Canada. What is his role in the company? His primary role is enabling channel partners on CyberArk's technical go-to-market strategy. This includes advocating for partner-specific technical solutions, developing and delivering partner-focused technical sales certification and trainings, and enabling partners on new solutions of offerings. Here, to share his knowledge on access management, please welcome Mike Rohlfs.
Hey, thank you for that introduction, and I appreciate you all being here. We are going to cover the future of access management from a CyberArk perspective. So we're going to go through our identity solution and also what's coming down the pipe as well. However, during the session, I'm going to share with you more details about our product vision and strategy and the main drivers and rationale behind our strategy. Therefore, as in any product direction presentation, I'm going to go ahead and put up our disclaimer slide here. So if something doesn't make it into the product in time or if something doesn't come to fruition, well, I'm not responsible, okay? So if you could, let's jump in our DeLoreans and let's go back to the future and see what we have, brewing here. So what we're going to go through is we're going to step through the evolution of access management. New challenge we're seeing here at CyberArk and our vision for access management. We're going to do a sneak preview of one of our new features coming out. It's going to be roughly available end of October, mid-November timeframe, so it's just around the corner. And I'm going to go ahead and do a quick demo of that, and then I'm going to leave some time for any questions and answers. Now, the core focus of all access management tools is to provide real-time access control, to our protected resources. Now, over time, access management capabilities keep growing. They're overlapping with identity and access management and security markets, right? We're seeing a lot of overlap. So, for example, many access management products will, start with a directory consolidation initiative. The effort might be to involve the consolidation of identity data and reduce the number of separate user repositories we have in the environment. However, what that really means and what's the goal here is that the fewer target directories helps us simplify the authentication and authorization to any access management solution. So while other capabilities might be focused or on improving, is that we're looking to improve that audit, that monitoring, right, and API security. So what influences access management spending today? Well, if you poll your customers and their stakeholders across the business landscape, you'll probably get a variety of different answers. However, though, most access management initiatives are championed by individual function owners with specific goals and tactical or short-term needs, However, despite differing opinions, most access and management investment drivers fall into 4 major categories, First, we want to defend against attacks. Two, driving operational efficiencies, enabling the digital business, and then satisfying that audit and compliance need. Now, these same drivers also influence what capabilities are actually included in an access management solution. And there is no bigger driver than security. So we've seen a lot of these breaches. There's, we always talk about this here at CyberArk, but month over month, security breaches seem to dominate the headlines. Here are just a few examples from 2020. I didn't even include any from 20 or 21. Some of the bigger ones like Colonial Pipeline and the JBS ransomware attacks. Okay. While being in the headline is bad enough, there's a lot more that happens when companies do get breached, as you can imagine and know. From impact to the reputation, potential exposure of sensitive user information, and just the raw cost of the breach. Now, this is something I read in an article, I guess it was last year, on this topic that a lot of CISOs, they feel that the cost of the breach, well, we'll deal with that cost of the breach rather than spend the money on people in solutions to help mitigate the breach. The reality is, I guess, perhaps it is cheaper, but the average cost of a data breach today is $3.92 million. Okay. I guess you can justify paying that kind of fine or that kind of money. However, though, it doesn't do much for you and I, right? The consumers, the people, right? The average size of the data breach is roughly 26,000 records. The time to identify and contain the breach, okay, 279 days. Think about what kind of dwell time that is. And that's what we call this, right? If I'm a hacker, if I'm the bad guy, once I get into your environment, right, I'm going to sit, I'm going to wait, I'm going to look for a privileged credential. I'm going to take my time and do my reconnaissance. 279 days is a lot of time in an environment. Heck, if you're going to be there that long, you might as well receive a paycheck, right? You're almost an employee. That's a lot of time to spend uncovered or, not being detected. Cost per record is $150. And I think we've all gotten these letters from LifeLock or some sort of credit bureau. They have to do that for every record that is leaked. And now the highest country average of a breach is $8 million, and that was from the United States. And the highest industry, right, what industry has been hit the most, I say hit the most expensive, is healthcare at $6.5 million. And that article I read was from a CISO from a healthcare provider. I believe they're in Louisiana. That, again, it's easier to pay the fine than hire a bunch of people and get the right solutions there. Kind of disturbing. So interestingly enough, there's a common thread among the latest breaches, and that's that they all have involved a compromised identity. If we just talk about Colonial real quick, they got that identity, right, those credentials off the dark web. They were able to go ahead and download the VPN client, right? They used that identity, that VPN client, to go ahead and, well, quite frankly, log into the environment where they sat and waited for a privileged credential. Okay? So in a survey by the IDSA, when asked about these types of identities more likely to be involved in breaches, top of the list, of course, human identities, right? I don't want to say that's the problem, that we need to get rid of humans, but, we're human. We make mistakes. We leave things behind. We don't always do what we should. We're forgetful sometimes, okay? So that's the top of the list, followed by privileged users. And then lastly, partner or third-party identities. Now, these are the types of identities that absolutely, categorically need to be protected in the enterprise, right? Because, quite frankly, we're human, okay? Now, There are a few ways cyber criminals can get access. It could be through weak credentials. If you're not enforcing, strong password controls, or a lot of times people reuse the same credential over and over and over. And I get it. Again, being human, it's hard to remember my 50 passwords across all my systems. Sometimes, quite frankly, it's easier to just reuse really one cool credential, except for if that gets breached, if that gets taken, now I don't have access just to that one system. I have access to all 50. Okay. But also it could be done through, phishing or social engineering. Phishing attacks still work. I performed one at my daughter's little school. It's a nonprofit, so we all kind of get together and volunteer our expertise. And they wanted to do a computer security test. So I did some pen testing and sent emails out, and I had 15 out of 50 employees. I had 15 reply to my email with their credentials. Again, not knowing any better, right? It was a very simple email stating that I needed to rebuild the Active Directory database, right? You can make anything up. If the end user is not educated, right, quite frankly, they just don't know. So I got 15 responses from that. Furthermore, like I mentioned earlier, with Colonial, attackers can buy these credentials off the dark web. Okay, so compromised privileged credentials represent an enormous risk as well. The challenge with access and management initiatives is that even though security is on the mindset of the stakeholders, their individual needs are most likely tactical and fairly narrow in scope. We have all heard, we've heard the example, security is great until it gets in my way. Okay, and I used to have a slide of, it was kind of like a gate guarding a road. Well, the gate stopped working, so what did people do? They drove around the gate. And that's just what we do. It's human nature. So if we take the rapid shift to remote work, right, like we saw recently with the COVID, for example, IT security needs scrambled. There were pressure to enable secure remote access for employees, right, to defend against the rising cyber attacks from COVID, from all the phishing emails, et cetera, right? This requirement caused the disappropriate investments in access management solutions that protected the remote workforce, but likely limited the broader use of these solutions for other use cases. Okay. Again, we have that one problem. We want to fix that one problem. We need to get rid of the blinders, right? And think about this more holistically. And most importantly, bolting on ad hoc solutions in a reactive mode has resulted in a heap of differing access management tools that only address specific needs and create potential security gaps across the organization. And this is an important point. Depending on the implementation, the combination of products may still leave companies vulnerable due to the lack of end-to-end security for all users. But there are potential issues as well. So if we go ahead and make this too difficult for end users, remember, it's human to look for the easy path. So we could see a drop in end user productivity in some applications that are harder to use or access. There could be a misalignment between business needs and security teams' requirements. Managing user accounts and credentials may result in ineffective use of IT resources. Think about it. I'm trying to balance in between what my users need, right? Those entitlements. Well, quite frankly, as an IT administrator, I can spend all day taking people in and out of groups, right? Think of that life cycle management, right? That's what we want to go ahead and, again, make easier, right? And more productive for our IT admins as well as for end users. Also, having vastly different systems with different interfaces, well, quite frankly, I don't want to jump from application to application if I'm an end user. I want to come to a single a single pane of glass, right? A single portal to gain access, okay, to those applications. And then our vendors as well, right? We have vendors and contractors coming in. We still need that mechanism for them to connect to our applications and systems in a secure manner. However, though, we need to go ahead and keep this, well, quite frankly, under wraps. We need to be able to provision and deprovision in an automated fashion, giving that just-in-time capability for those folks. So what does the future of access management look like? Our vision is for secure access management that is based on the following 4 trends. First is a unified access management that focuses on security. Now, if you know CyberArk, you know we're a security company first. If you didn't know that, well, now you know. CyberArk was built on that security mindset, okay? So everything we do has that security focus on it, okay? Even access management. How can we make this more secure, okay? So the tactical expansion of access management tools has led to serious security and consistency challenges. So what we want to do is we want to push towards a unified access platform to consolidate controls as a necessary evolution step. The second trend is AI-powered identity management and adaptive authentication. Enterprise access requirements have radically evolved. Okay. Meanwhile, authentication processes have really not kept pace. Okay, an indication by the prevalent password-based controls we still have. AI-powered access management and adaptive authentication go beyond common security controls to uncover threat patterns, threat situations that could not be addressed through a manual process. So we need to be able to go ahead and automate some of this so we can first of all, we can react to risk. Well, if I have it automated, it's not so much reaction anymore, right? We're as close as we can be. So we want to take all that great information that our AI or UBA engines are finding and build those into dynamic policies for the end user. The third trend focuses on expanding SIAM capabilities at customer interaction. These expectations for a great digital experience are at an all-time high. Advancements in customer identity and access management are helping organizations meet the demands by delivering easier, more secure customer access to their websites and applications. And really what this does, this creates a tailored customer experience or journey for that customer. Then finally, we're going to talk about SaaS delivered solutions that focus not just securing cloud-hosted resources, but also the existing components you might have with your on-prem environments. So many access management products I've used, they're fantastic, but they do focus on the web application. We still need to go ahead and focus on web, right? Cloud, future. However, though, we still see a lot of on-prem folks as well, and we need to be able to go ahead and strike that balance and secure both of those environments. So let's see how these and other trends are shaping our identity security vision. Again, this is CyberArk's vision. Other visions, I'm sure there's other visions out there, or you may have another vision. But really what CyberArk wants to provide is that end-to-end SaaS-based identity security platform to secure access of any user, whether it's an IT admin, an IT admin, a developer, a cloud engineer, workforce employee, contractors, vendors, even non-human identities, okay? We need to go ahead and secure any type of application or system, whether it's on-prem, in the cloud, from anywhere, using any device. Now, this entire offering is being built on a unified platform, applying a security-first approach that provides a frictionless experience to all users regardless of their physical location. Now, if we look under the hood, our platform consists of 3 pillars: privilege, access, and DevSecOps. It provides an integrated and holistic user experience for the end user and the administrator. And of course, we're building out integrations between these 3 pillars all the time. The privilege, access, and DevSecOps, say that 10 times fast, solutions, together with our ongoing innovation, and we're going to see some of this innovation later on, are all designed to show the benefits from our identity security SaaS platform. Now, in addition to the direct value to our customers, the platform shared services will also shorten the time to market. We will be able to provide and deliver new SaaS-based services at a rapid pace, right? Anything that we come out with new functionality and continuously improvements will be delivered a heck of a lot faster. Also, from a services point of view, I've done tons of POCs around our SaaS-based offerings, and quite frankly, it shortens those proof of concept times. Then it's going to shorten that time to, I say time to market, but also that return on investment. You can take what your customers have done, say in a POC, and flip it into production. So all that great work you've done with those use cases, well, it's not lost. You don't have to rebuild anything because it is SaaS-based. Okay. Now it's particularly important, given the dynamic nature of today's IT environments, that we deliver an ongoing value to our customers, and again, are able to keep up with the demands and innovation that CyberArk is known for. And this is going to be able to be delivered through that SaaS platform. The platform will integrate also with our on-prem PAM solution to enable the customers to consume a modern SaaS offering as a hybrid integrated solution. And the integration between our on-prem PAM offering and our SaaS platform will enable large corporations or large enterprises that prefer to keep those keys of the kingdom on-prem to benefit from our robust SaaS capabilities. And this is really a driver that I still see today is, though it's folks have, expanded their mind, loosened up a little bit, but we still have a lot of folks that want to keep those keys to the kingdom on-prem. So again, the idea is that our SaaS platforms are going to be able to integrate with that on-prem PAM solution if needed. And lastly, we've made great and considerable progress already with our executing our vision, as we'll see a little later. We've developed a ton of integrations between our privileged access management solutions, our endpoint solutions, into our identity security platform. So here at CyberArk, our identity suite, our identity platform suite consists of single sign-on, adaptive multi-factor authentication, end user lifecycle management, and directory services. This means you can easily set up with single sign-on and multi-factor to your SaaS applications. We can also then set this up very easily for those VPNs, endpoint devices, but also, again, if your customers have a CyberArk solution, such as our privileged access management, and secure those on-prem or cloud infrastructures. When you think about the ease of administration and ease of use for the end users, this is going to include allowing them to authenticate in a passwordless fashion. Now, and this is going to increase the value exponentially. So now we can start going truly down that passwordless route if we want. I always hear a lot of talk about passwordless, and it's fantastic. I haven't seen it executed quite yet. However, leveraging our identity solution, you can actually go down that road and make that passwordless. So here's a summary of the benefits you'll get when our ongoing unified identity security platform. Now, if you're on advancing that zero trust policy journey, this solution can help you validate every user and every device. That is the cornerstone of zero trust. I have to be able to validate that user. I have to be able to validate that device they're coming in on. Next, you'll get end-to-end visibility and information about your users that's no longer just stored in silos. We, of course, support every type of identity and provide excellent users experience, not only for admins who get to leverage fewer consoles, right? We want to collapse the consoles and have that single pane of glass. And this is going to simplify the daily care and feeding of the identity solution. But also users get that similar experience regardless of the resources they want to access. So we need to make it simple and we need to make it easy. Of course, we take a modern API first architecture approach, and this plays a huge role. Now, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the second trend, the AI-powered identity management. Now, let's think about how many different rules, different policies you need to set up to keep your organization safe. And every control you put in place just adds to the friction of the user experience. And I'm sure you all can agree, when your user is faced with strong authentication methods, if they can skirt around that security process, they will. Quite frankly, at one time at CyberArk, we multi-factored to everything, and hence you get that multi-factor fatigue. That is not what I would call productive. So we want to go ahead and create smart policies with our AI-powered and UBA engine within our identity platform. So then a compelling alternative is to use our AI to analyze that user behavior, to automatically and dynamically apply needed privileged security controls to each session based on the level of permission that is required. And so here's the example for that. An organization can create a policy to prevent high-risk users, right? A high-risk user can be, maybe the location they're in, okay? From launching applications with customer data without validating their identity. Now, what we can do with that is we can go ahead, take those attributes, that location, the application they're accessing, the user itself, and then we can go ahead and apply high assurance multi-factor MFA factors to it. Maybe such as a physical token, maybe you have a fingerprint reader, maybe I send you an OTP or I send you a push to your phone, right? The idea is in a dynamic fashion, I can make that judgment call if I need to hit you for extra multi-factor, that extra security layer. However, low-risk users accessing, say, low-risk applications can simply skip that MFA authentication, right? And keep moving towards their work, right? The idea is we want to keep up with the end user. We need to be moving fast. We need to move like they are. However, we can't throw security to the side. Again, if they're not in the right spot, if it's a high-risk application, I want to go ahead and wrap that with another layer of security through a multi-factor control. Okay. Now, adaptive access controls are becoming an essential access management capability because they enable organizations to dynamically address high-risk situations that would not have been previously considered. Okay. We're able to collect all this great information. So, for example, what you're seeing here is the CyberArk Identity User Behavioral Analytics Engine, which leverages AI and machine learning to identify patterns in complex contextual data sets to determine potentially risky conditions that would not otherwise be recognized through manual processes. Quite frankly, there's just too much data to go ahead and actually look through this in a manual way. So we need our user behavioral analytics to help identify those patterns, okay? Now, with that information gathered from contextual factors and external sources, we do have integrations with vulnerability scanners as well. Administrators can create dynamic access policies. We can get notifications. So if there is a security incident, well, we can investigate that. Then we can go ahead and define remediation actions when potential breaches do happen or are attempted. The more contextual signals, right, the more and better our dynamic policies will have an effect, right? So we can go ahead and, again, through our identity platform, pick up, time of access, geolocation, geovelocity, the device they come in on. Maybe Ed, who's one of our presenters here. Maybe he has a Macintosh, right, registered to him, but now I see him trying to go ahead and log in from a PC, right? That's device. That doesn't make any sense. So with that, I can go ahead and add a rule dynamically that says, hey, if they're not coming in on the right device, let's go ahead and hit them with MFA. Remember, we need to validate the user, but we need to validate their device they're coming in on as well. If it's not the correct operating system, right, we're able to go ahead and pick up these great attributes so we can create those dynamic policies so we don't get that MFA fatigue at the end of the day. Now, when we talk about B2C use cases, it's a must in today's application world. Applications, corporations, right? Again, we talked earlier about giving really that great customer experience, okay? And this use case is becoming more increasingly common from varied industries to work with a unified experience for their customers. So CIAM tools work, they work as building blocks an organization can use to create customer experiences. I don't know how many of you have logged into, say, a store or, I'm going to say Amazon, but where you've logged in and it is just horrible. It is a bad experience. Quite frankly, I don't even use those companies or use those websites. I'll go on to something better because it's a bad experience, and organizations know this. So some organizations have even categorized CIAM as part of the digital marketing function. And that's true, right? If I employ a good CIAM practice to my digital prospects or digital customers, well, quite frankly, those will result in sales. So we need to make that a great experience for our customers. So traditionally, customer authentication has been a point in time discussion based on the initial credentials that the user presents. Now, this could potentially lead to unauthorized access if the customer's device or credentials were compromised. A modern CIAM solution needs to ensure that authentication and authorization in the customer-facing apps are ongoing by leveraging user behavioral analytics. Similar to the AI capabilities we kind of just talked about a couple of slides back. If I register with a company in their website and I fill up my address information, and then all of a sudden, they're having me log in, say, from, Venezuela or, another location. Well, I can see that, hey, well, Mike says he's in Texas. He's logging in from here. Maybe I want to go ahead and present him with maybe some other multi-factor or send him an email, again, asking if this is truly that person logging in. And we need to add these layers of security. So the capabilities around then self-service registration and password management features in our access management product are the key requirements for those organizations. Okay. Most recently, customers are looking to expand beyond and look for profile management, just not that identity, but the profile. Okay. This way, with customers, with companies managing this type of data, right, and the master data management functionality, we're able to go ahead and then take this information as part of we can take this information from our CIAM solutions and then, again, build a better customer experience and journey for them. Now, the final trend we are seeing is a substantial shift towards SaaS delivered solutions, and that's kind of a no-brainer. The initial concerns that customers had around SaaS delivered solutions, were around availability, security, um, having, sustained over the past few years. Now we're seeing a trend towards that. Customers now recognize that SaaS delivered solutions are easier to deploy and they can provide a more robust end-to-end security model, unlike some of even the monolithic legacy systems that they may have used in the past. There are two important things to point out, however. First, although cloud adoption is on the rise, on-premise user directories and applications and processes won't go away overnight. Um, I'm sure, like myself, like you and myself, I've been hearing about this for years and years, and it still hasn't happened. Right? We're still dealing with on-prem. It's up there with passwords, and what I have heard recently is folks wanting to move from 8. When I see it, I'll believe it. So we need that ability to support on-prem resources as well as cloud-based resources. We need to have that flexibility. That flexibility is absolutely critical. How often, and here's the rub, oftentimes legacy vendors, cloud-based solutions lack features on their on-prem offerings, okay? So that's why we need a robust identity solution like CyberArk is to support that on-prem, support custom applications, support any cloud infrastructures they may have. We need to be able to hit all the bases. So the evolution of access management looks like this. Legacy solutions that were designed to live within a perimeter and require custom integration. Okay? These are monolithic, require specialized skills, and have a high total cost of ownership. Next, what we saw was, modern access management solutions. They are the standards based on, they have their APIs they use. They're great for boundaryless security, being able to consistently update, have a much lower total cost of ownership, and a shorter time to value, right? However, though, the future of access management is really around identity security. These solutions provide that end-to-end security, session isolation, and frictionless access and continuous authentication that we can monitor. So, what are the challenges, right? I mentioned continuously monitoring. I need to apply a risk score. I need visibility into it. So, we need to be able to secure our on-prem apps and our web apps. Okay. So, the challenges, again, I mentioned some of them: applications, SaaS, on-prem, right, or in the cloud. We need to protect all users, admins, privileged users, business users. Okay. And also, like I mentioned, most applications, they don't provide enough visibility. Yeah, I could probably look for a log file and see maybe when, Sally or Brett logged in. But at the end of the day, I don't have any idea what they really did. Okay. So we need to secure those web applications. So how can we do that? What do we need to do to get to that level? We need to be able to record all actions taken by specific end users in a specific application. I need to be able to create an audit trail that can tell exactly what the users did and what their steps were. the ability then to search on these stored recordings. I need to be able to protect that web application session from malicious processes on the endpoint. I don't need to be hijacked in the middle. And I need to go ahead, constantly reevaluate the user's risk for authentication. Also, I can't impact the SSO experience. Remember what I said, we're all human. If I make it hard, I'm going to find another way to do it. And so I want that analytics and profiling, that UBA on the back end to alert me to any risky sessions. And then the application of data protection policies via that contextual content aware session management. Since I'm recording that session, well, let's go ahead and pull up some of these attributes from that session and make those available to create policies, okay? And then we need to have policies flexible enough to cover most users and most applications. We don't want to, again, we need to strike that balance between being productive and security. So part of our identity platform that is coming out at the end of October and the beginning of November is our CyberArk Secure Web Sessions. With our secure web sessions, you can go ahead and seamlessly record all actions taken by a specific end user within protected applications. Remember, I don't want to go ahead and apply too much security to all applications. Again, we're going to have that fatigue from the end user. It won't be a good experience, okay? We need to be able to then automatically then create and audit those users, right, with those exact steps. So we can then easily demonstrate compliance, right? And we need to be a searchable library of those recorded sessions with timestamps and screenshots and provide a seamless experience that is transparent to the end user. Okay, again, I keep harping on it, but if we make it hard, they will find another way, or it just won't get used, okay? So when we boil those requirements down, what does this really mean? Well, it means authentication to start with, right? I need to go ahead and if it's a sensitive application or high-risk application, I need to challenge them when they authenticate. But I need to continuously check that authentication, okay? Therefore, then I can give them the proper authorization. I need to be able to then go ahead and determine, hey, what is a sensitive app? Is it by user? Is it by application? Is it by a risk score? Okay. Then I can throw in customer-defined policies. Maybe I do want to go ahead and pull in that geovelocity, geolocation attributes as well. I need the ability to track and provide visibility on every action being done by the user in every session. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into a quick demo. And I'm coming up on my time, so I think maybe I'll have time to demo. And this demo is a recording site. Again, this is very new functionality. There we go. So I'm going to start off with the administrator view, okay? I'm going to go ahead and hide some of this. So from our administrator view, what I've done is I have my applications that are going to be available as a single sign-on for my end users, okay? And what we're going to be able to do then is then I want to go into the properties of our applications. From here, I'm going to be able to actually set the security levels that I want. I can go ahead and set a continuous authentication. This means that if we notice our end user that is maybe moving away from their workstation, maybe I've just shut down my laptop and moved to somewhere different, okay? I'm going to be able to pick that information up and then, again, ask them to re-authenticate, okay? Step recording. Now, step recording is not a full video. We're taking actually snapshots or steps, right, and pinning those together. However, though, the steps that we are recording, this makes it available for us then to do contextual searches, right? I'm able to go in and actually search that log or that step recording log and find out that exactly point in time the user did something. And then session protection, right? We want to be able to go ahead and provide that protection within that web browser, right? We want to protect the endpoint because, quite frankly, this is where the bad stuff happens, is on that endpoint. So then once I make that available, my user can come in, select it, and now we're going to enforce those pieces of multi-factor, right? Those security layers that we defined, right? So they've gone ahead. Let's go back 10 seconds. Okay, so I'm hitting them for multi-factor, right? We're going to go ahead and they can scan that QR code, and this is completely passwordless. Okay, remember, I've gone ahead and verified my user, and I've verified their devices. So I'm scanning this QR code, again, no passwords. I'm going through those security layers, right? Continuous authentication. We're going to go ahead and apply that step recording in session protection. So now, once I'm into the application, a couple things to make note of is I have this widget. This widget gets installed. This widget is actually what protecting this web session, even in this particular tab. Okay, so I have that endpoint protection on. So if I go into another area of the application, maybe I'm going to go ahead and go into a particular bank account. We're capturing all this great detail. And maybe I want to make an edit and maybe change a bank account, right? This is the kind of information I cannot get from any application log. Okay, it's impossible. However, with secure web sessions, I'm able to record this session and apply a risk score to it. Maybe I do want to raise a risk if somebody touches a bank account number, etc. So I've gone ahead and saved that. And now I'm going to be able to then if I want to, perhaps I go ahead and I'm going to pause that and set that up a little better. So on the right-hand side, I have my user. If in the middle of my session, I decide to get up or leave, right? I'm going to grab my phone. Maybe I'm going to get some lunch. However, I've left my session open. What a secure web sessions is going to be able to do then is realize that, hey, that connection between my end user and the application is gone. Okay. I'm going to be able then to go ahead and halt the session until you come back, perhaps. The idea is that you've moved away with this sensitive information up, and we want to go ahead and, if we have to, then kill that session, so to say. So then once that's done, my end user's finished, I can come back as an administrator. I have the ability then to go ahead, search for my particular application here from the drop-down. I can go ahead and then select our NetSuite app. I have my recordings. However, though, there's a lot there maybe. So I can actually do that contextual search here. I'm going to go ahead and search for the word number and then bring that up. And I can see within that recording, hey, I have number here and number there. And I can see I did a mouse click on bank account field. So again, that contextual driven ability to go ahead and search for the particular risk, perhaps. Or I can remove that search, and now I get the entire session as well. Even when I walked away from my workstation and we halted the session. Excellent. So with that, some of our key takeaways. is going to be, the future is just not enough to have SSO. Okay? We need to provide that layer of security option. We need end-to-end security. We need to be able to go ahead and have this all backed with AI or UBA analytics to be able to provide that rich information we need so we can dynamically create policies that are meaningful. We don't want that MFA fatigue. So next steps, if you want to go ahead and hit our CyberArk.com /buy-try or try-buy, you can go ahead and sign up for a free trial. The secure web recording functionality is going to be out the end of October, beginning of November. And with that, I thank you for your time. I appreciate it so much. It's always a joy to talk to folks, and I can talk about security all day. So with that, I'll hand this back over to our host. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. So audience, as promised, now we are going to spin a wheel to select 4 lucky winners. Yes, can you share the screen? Great. You all can see your names written on this wheel. So let's rotate the wheel and see who our first winner is. Please rotate the wheel. Okay, so our first winner is Jesse Pike. Congratulations, Jesse.
Awesome.
You will receive Amazon gift card from us.
Jesse.
Yeah. Okay, so for the second winner, congratulations, Emma. You're our second winner, and you will receive free security advisory training by industry experts. So Jesse and Emma, Sennovate will reach out to you directly via mail to give away your prizes. So 2 winners are selected. More 2 are yet to be selected. So I think we can select those 2 people after the live questionnaire round.
Audience, if you have any questions, we would like to answer.
Thank you, Paul, for attending. Appreciate it. Oh, and I see we have a question. Is Mike always this handsome? Yes, I am. I appreciate you asking that. I'm just kidding. Don't be shy. If you have a question, throw it out there. That's why we're here for. Ashley, if you're still on, are you a Gator fan or a Knoll fan or what? I see you're from the Florida department. I have a question. Will it take actions on the basis of events or will it just track them? Yes, it'll take actions based on events. We do have integrations with Palo Alto Cortex, et cetera, those kind of vulnerability scanners, but those vulnerability type of mechanisms. We can take that information and directly apply it to a dynamic policies. Okay, that way, again, those policies then make sense. They're up to date. They're not old or stale. Okay, of course, then we can track the user actions on the back end, and set up some sort of remediation or actions based on the user as well. I hope that answers your question, Daph. Jesse, on Azure AD integrations and overlapper controls, what you're going to get, so the overlapping part is going to be, and I don't claim to be an Azure AD guru, but the things we're going to see are overlap on controls are going to be that single sign-on and some of that basic multi-factor experience. Things you aren't going to get is the rich UBA information from our AI engine. Okay, you're not going to get this secure web sessions. So then, again, on the very basic level, you're going to have that, the everyday SSO MFA overlap, but you're not going to get all the rich security controls. And again, this is why CyberArk has this offering, right? We are a security company first, right? We're just not here to check boxes. This is why we're the innovator in the space. Yes. So, Dev, can we create a custom policy on top of an existing one? Yeah, you can. What's going to happen here is the policies are going to fire in a hierarchical, if I said that right, order, where then if that custom policy is met, then it will fire that policy. If that custom policy is not met, then it's going to fall down to the existing one you already have. Okay. Let's see here. Who will provide the policy user or the tool owner? Who will provide the policies? Policies user, tool owner. Def, I'm not sure what you mean by that one. I do apologize. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm missing the boat on that one. Unless, somebody else can fill that in a little bit. Or you can reach out directly to me. And on the UMS protocol, BJ, let me go ahead and I'm going to mark that one down. I need to check that one for you, sir. I do apologize for not having that answer. Let's see here. Anything else? Oh, no. Okay. Excellent. Thank you for expanding on that. I missed the boat. No, we have a default policies. We have a default policy built in. Okay. In my lab, I treat that default policy as a catch-all. Okay. I have my other policies built on top. So if for some reason my user doesn't meet any of those other policies, my default policy will always grab that. Okay. So yes, it does come out of the box. You do not have to create it from scratch. Awesome stuff. Any other questions? We have about 2 minutes.
Okay, so I think then we can select the rest 2 winners.
Nice.
Yeah. So, Shagun, can you please share the screen? Great. Spin the wheel. Okay. So our third winner is Diana. Congratulations, Diana. You get Amazon gift card. For our fourth winner, okay, so our fourth winner is Akash Agarwal. Akash, congratulations. You will get free security advisory training by industry expert. So we already have 4 winners now. It's time to end. And all the winners out there, Sennovate will get in touch with you directly via mail to give your prizes.
Okay, so now it's time to say goodbye. And thank you guys once again for taking out your time and attending this webinar.